chat, and we will we will get to the questions as they come up. And I'm actually super okay with you unmuting and asking. Um, it doesn't bother me at all. It actually helps me to know the direction that to take the information. So my name again is Roxanne Best. Welcome to AI powered content creation to help you create more productivity and streamline action in your business. Again, this is me. I'm not going to read through all this. I am a self-professed do all the things addict, because if you were to see my resume of all the things that I've done in my life, it's really long. Um, I've done a lot of different things, which I believe brings a lot of different lenses to teaching and helping and guiding entrepreneurs through their journeys into entrepreneurship. So today the plan is we're just going to go over like what is AI. AI is as many different things. Oftentimes we think of robots or just Chat GPT or those types of platforms, but there's other types of AI that we probably use every day and we don't realize it. And I'm going to talk about Chat GPT. That's one of my favorite AI platforms right now. I use it in so many different capacities, and I'm going to talk about what it is and how you can use it in your day to day as an entrepreneur. And then some other AI tools that I use for creating social media content and helping to streamline my productivity. And then we will bring it all together. And I'm also going to go in and out between like the presentation and then some demo as well, so that you can see like, okay, yeah, this is great to talk about, but then you get to see how I actually use the tools, which is really a great way to learn. So what is AI and where are you already using it? If you have a smartphone and you use the Face ID to unlock your phone or the thumbprint to unlock your phone, if you watch streaming video and it ever gives you suggestions on what you might enjoy watching next, you are using AI and you may not have known it. There's a lot of different types of AI that we use on a daily basis, but those are just a couple of examples. I have so many more. So the plain language definition of AI is it's any software that learns patterns, makes a decision without being programmed specifically to do that action. For example, when we open up our phones, it is specifically programmed, but it learns what our faces look like. So when we go to use that, we don't have to teach it every single time. And we're not manually going in and saying, my nose is this dimension, my eyes are this color. It is learning that on its own because it was programmed to learn those patterns in individual faces. So AI has four different types, and these are the four types that we're going to talk about today. There's narrow task AI, which it just does one thing over and over again. That's kind of like opening up your phone with your thumbprint, or your computer uses your thumbprint. Generative AI, where you can generate ideas and photos. Predictive AI, where it collects data and information, and then it gives you predictions based on those inputs. And then the final is multimodal AI, which it takes all of those and just creates an output for you. And just full disclosure, all of these images were AI generated images. They're using generative AI. So these were all created. I just typed in image for narrow task AI and generative AI. And these are the images that AI came up with to represent these different models. So taking a little deeper dive into narrow task AI, think of it like a laser focused intern that does one thing really, really good and they don't do anything else. So some examples, like I said, Netflix, when they give you a suggestion, because you watched this show, you might enjoy this show. It analyzes your watch history and then it will match it with all different kinds of viewing patterns and then it gives you those suggestions. Some other places that we might see narrow task AI in everyday use is spam filters. So our email starts to be like, yeah, we don't usually get emails from this place. It's probably spam. So it's looking at things from the past. It can't really do much else besides it can't read your emails, it can't summarize your emails, but it can filter out potential spam. So that single task. WAS, which is a route picker for like traveling. It'll help you pick the fastest route when you're traveling. Your bank fraud alert pings when you get that thing that says there maybe like maybe you're traveling out of the country or to a different state, and then you might get a ping that says, hey, this might be fraudulent activity because you don't usually buy in New York, which I was just on a trip to New York. So I didn't get any pings because I booked tickets and I did all this stuff using my bank account. So it like knew. But I have gotten them for other places that I had no association with. So, but it's only good at pinging if some things are like out of the norm. So how does this apply to your business? If you do have one of those tasks that that happens over and over and over again, you can find some kind of a narrow task AI that will help to maybe approve a refund. If you have specific parameters and someone requests a refund, then without having to go in and do anything, you could set up a narrow task AI just to issue that refund right away. Also support tickets that maybe require more than what your automated systems can provide, where you need to make a phone call because this person is asking questions or inquiring about things that require an actual human to interact with them, not just our AI platforms. So anything that you need, there's probably a narrow AI that can handle it. It's just there's so many tools available to us now that are out there. And then generative AI, this is the one everybody is talking about. It's instead of just classifying data, it can create something new from inputs. Like it can create new text, it can create different images, it can help generate code, it can even help you make music. So if you're a business owner, um, it can be your 24/7 creative team and helping brainstorm product names or product ideas or making ad graphics, scripting a podcast. Maybe you have a podcast and you can enter in the topics that you've talked about over like a month or a year even, and you want to redo your podcast intro. You could get the context from those podcasts and say, I want to create this really new catchy intro for my podcast based on the past podcast episodes. And just like that, it will generate some ideas for you. It's really quite amazing and fast. Whereas if we were doing this on our own, for this example, might have to go back and rewatch all of those podcasts and pull out all the highlights of that podcast and then create like a spreadsheet and decide like what's the most common theme and what's going to get people's attention, what were the most popular episodes. Whereas using generative AI, we can put those inputs into a platform like ChatGPT, or maybe you broadcast on Spotify or YouTube. It can generate reports and give you ideas as well. So other places that you might use generative AI on a daily basis is I use ChatGPT every day to help me write email drafts that actually make sense. I have ADHD and my thoughts go all over the place all the time. And so I will use like Google Docs and I'll turn on the microphone and I'll talk out my email. Then I'll pop it into ChatGPT and say, this is an email to XYZ and I need to get some really important points across. Can you make this more clear? And it will regenerate it. I read it and I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say. But what I had said out loud did not make any sense. DAL-E is where you can take inputs and turn it into custom artwork. The image in the lower right-hand corner is generative AI. I put some words in. And this is an image that it came up with. Again, your bank's fraud alert pings, um, and oops, dang it. Sorry, I just hit my mouse in a weird way and it went crazy. And then the next is predictive AI. This is the third type of AI, and you want to think about this as having a crystal ball that's powered by data. And it takes all that information and creates predictions. So as a business owner, I did not change this. So as a business owner, what this does for you is it helps you to, oh, I'm sorry, it is right. I'm just not having, um, no, it isn't. So predictive AI is like your QuickBooks. It is where you put in information, you're putting in your expense information or you're putting in your revenue generation. And what it does is you can say, do a cash flow projection for the fourth quarter of 2025. And it will take the information based on your history and create a spreadsheet or a document that is saying, based on what you said, this is what we think your revenue will look like. QuickBooks is one of the best places. Any sort of data that you need, e-commerce platforms will give you suggestions like Spotify, Shopify. If you use it, it has a great tool that will say, you've been selling a lot of this type of item. You might want to increase your inventory. Or last year, during February, this item in your inventory sold really well, so you might want to increase this inventory because it's low. So it's really cool for being able to suggest inventory. And also email marketing tools to predict the best time to send an email. These are even available if you use any kind of social media scheduling platforms. So if you have, like I use one called Metricool, and I can show you the back end of it, and it gives me like percentages of the suggested highest rate of interaction with my post based on the time of the day. And I can decide to post during the highest percentage based on that prediction. And it's not factual, right? It's a wild guess based on historical information. And then again, credit cards flagging suspicious transactions. So why does it matter as a business owner? Because better predictions mean less surprises. This is my favorite thing for cash flow projections, especially for small businesses, because our cash flow matters so much in our day to day. And it tends to be the one thing that when we're taking business classes, we hear you need to have your profit and loss or income statement, your balance sheet, and all these things. But at the end of the day, the one thing that small business owners are concerned about is, do I have enough money in my bank account or cash flow in my business to be able to pay my bills? And having an accurate cash flow projection can be really helpful for us to say, okay, I need to, get more clients, or I need to find ways to sell more items because based on this prediction, sales are going to go down and my cash flow is going to go down. So that is where it can be really, really beneficial as a business owner. Somehow this slide just kept this spot. um, when I saved it. I apologize. And then there's multimodal AI. This is the Swiss Army knife of AI models. It can take all kinds of data and input, text, images, audio, and put it all together into a single smart response. And it is things like Google Gemini. I don't know if you've ever done the photo recognition. I'm in the process of building a house. It's probably another year out, but I like if I go to a place and I love the flooring, I'll take a picture of the flooring through Google, the image generate, or it has a camera on the Google search, and it will pull up all the places that I can buy that flooring, that particular pattern or that particular style. It can also, let's say somebody sends you a photo of a damaged product. You can put a text prompt in it. You can add that image to Google Gemini, put a prompt that says draft an apology email and attach warranty information or our return policy, and then it's going to put out information and a note ready to send to that customer. It just saves time. It's so amazing. And then other emerging tools that you might use, and I'm not really familiar with Microsoft Copilot, but it can read a PDF. But I'll say also, I use ChatGPT. I upload PDF files and I'll ask it to summarize the PDF and it will summarize it for me so I don't have to read the whole thing. But it can listen to your verbal questions about it and then generate a slide explaining the key numbers from a document. Let's say it's a projections report. Credit card companies, again, flagging suspicious transactions. Okay, so and the examples are coming, I promise. I'm just going to do a quick peek into the chat and see what are other examples of predictive AI. Is that what you mean? Yes, predictive AI. So other examples, let me think. What are some others? Sorry, my brain just skipped gears for a minute. Predictive. So aside from data analysis, machine learning. So this is where it's learning algorithms to build those predictive models. That's like the example I was giving with the social media platforms that I use to determine when the best time to post for my clients is. Demand forecasting and retailing, that's that Shopify example where it's like saying, we predict that there's going to be an increase in demand for, if you like, say, let's say you make wearable art or jewelry, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, those are like high volume sales times for jewelry. Fraud detection, um, predictive maintenance in manufacturing. So using sensor data from machinery to predict when equipment is likely to fail, and it can schedule maintenance. Like we have cars that are smarter than us about like maintenance. It says you're due for an oil change, or based on the amount of driving that you're doing, it's time to, get a checkup on your car or tires. It's time to, my car is like way better at organizing those things than I am. And also analyze customers' browsing and purchasing history. So it can take like when a customer comes onto your website and see, or to other websites like yours, and it can determine like where customers are going to go first. And it can help you to personalize based on those recommendations or those observations. It can give you an idea on how to organize that stuff for yourself. Banks and lending institutions use it to do credit risk assessment. So it looks at your borrow or your purchase history, your payment history. It takes all that information, and that's how you get your credit score. It's predicting your future behavior based on past behavior. So basically, it allows you to anticipate any future events and trends to help make more productive decisions that will help better processes, improve overall outcomes for your business. I don't have a lot of like specific tools that I use for predictive AI, aside from like the Shopify types of platforms, the e-commerce like Etsy is one that uses predictive AI. Um, any of the algorithms for social media, they use predictive AI to determine like what, based on this person's browsing history, what are they more likely to engage with online in the future. So it's predicting based on information from the past, what it thinks you will enjoy content wise. Did that help, Carolyn? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm trying to try not to go too deep because I don't, but I love questions because then I can take it a little bit further. So taking this into the chat GPT discussion. So we want to think about, and I see someone in the chat does use it a lot. I use it quite a bit. It's your super assistant for your business. It's like having your superhero sidekick who's really good at talking things out and helping you out with your ideas. It's like an extra team member who's always there and they don't need to sleep and they know a lot about almost everything. And ChatGPT is getting better and better. It's the primary platform that I personally use. I know there's Grok and there's Gemini, and every platform, every major platform is coming up with its own version of ChatGPT. But in all the research that I've been doing, and I'm not on ChatGPT because ChatGPT will always say it's the best. No, it actually doesn't. It does recommend other platforms, but like we're talking and looking at some of the experts on AI, a lot of them still say ChatGPT is one of the best because it is the oldest, so it is wiser, so it's been pulling data a lot longer, and people have been using it a lot longer, so the inputs it's getting are it's learning faster and faster than the other platforms that maybe don't have as much traffic. And I use pets because in some people's lives, our pets are our superhero assistants that keep us sane in our lives. So how do I actually use AI in my business on a daily basis? So it can look very similar. I use it in several different ways, but this is like the one that I use the most common. I have an idea for teaching a workshop, or I get a new social media client and I need to develop a program or strategy for them. I write down all of my ideas and thoughts in a notebook. And then I take out the main ideas that are going to have the greatest influence on the project based on both like the client input, like if it's a social media client, as well as like their product information. If it's for a workshop, I'll look at who I'm teaching the workshop to, and that will be that's where I'll pull a lot of like my ideas that relate to that specific topic. And then I prompt the idea highlights in ChatGPT. Then I fine tune the ideas in ChatGPT, and then I'll take that idea and create an outline, and then I'll create a slide deck in Canva, and I'll create social media posts, and then I will iterate more ideas based on those posts and slide decks that I've created in ChatGPT. And I can build out a client's like whole month of social media, posting 5 times a week on 2 different platforms in a matter of like a day, which it used to take me a whole week to generate and create a client's like the ideas for the month and then to create the content. So in a nutshell, it's brainstorming and rewriting, and also doing those rubber duck clarity sessions. If you've never heard that term, don't feel bad. This is the first time that I heard it too. Someone said it in a workshop and I had to Google it, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. That's how I use it too. So you're talking to the model, to AI, and you're talking out your ideas, and it helps you get more clear with your ideas. So I often use ChatGPT on my phone. It has a voice model where I can talk to it when I'm driving, and I'll use it for coaching sessions. I use it like, ooh, I'll ask my AI, it'll hear my voice, and to open up that app on my phone when I'm driving, and then I'll just start having a conversation with ChatGPT about my idea. And then it's like I'm working while I'm also driving. As it usually works when I'm by
Hey,
myself. I
Roxanne,
have Go ahead. Oh,
is
it
it okay that
usually
I unmuted and started?
Oh yeah, please.
Okay. So, this is more of a philosophical question here because I also use GPT and sometimes I'm in the car and I've like asked it, hey, help me find the best protein, cleanest protein powder that's sold in the United States, for example, and go back and forth. And then I've had a friend who's come visit me recently and said, "Hey, have you thought about how much water, how much resources using AI takes?" And the impact on the environment. And so just wondering, like, have you encountered that and what is the fact checking that we might be able to do on all of that? And just like what's the conversation around it?
Yeah, that is kind of out of the scope of this webinar, but I mean it's a data facility, and data facilities have to cool their machines, and they use water typically as their cooling systems. So um that's the research that I've done so far. And that's something that I haven't done a deep dive in, and it is way outside of the scope of what we're talking about. It's more an environmental thing that you're bringing into the conversation. Um, but it is something that has come to my mind in the last little bit. So deciding because data farms are everywhere. And we use it not just using ChatGPT. Google is also a data farm. And if you use Google and you are not worried about it, um, why ChatGPT and AI and not Google? Um, if you use cell phones, that's data. I like, so there's more places that this is impacting than just AI. That's
That's actually a really helpful perspective because I was like, oh, I just was kind of disarmed by that a little bit. So thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Chrisman, I'm really glad you asked that question because I think I struggle with that as well. Um, I have read that it does have more environmental impact than other, just because of the nuances of like how it thinks. But I think the way that I think about it is like rather than like a dependency on it, for me it's like a complement, like. And I think sometimes I do think about that. Like, is it more valuable for me to talk to AI right now or just like hit up a friend? And sometimes it is one or the other, you know what I mean? And so I do struggle with that as well. And I'm really glad that that is like something that's on more than just my mind.
Yeah, no, it is something that's on. Oh, dang it, I didn't update this. Um, I translated this into a new slide deck, so I apologize that some of these are not updated. If you read Latin, there you go. So 10 high impact case uses for being in business is you can take social media and do your own variants for posting. It can take marketing copy and translate for different regions. So in different, it can um, I had some clients from Hawaii, and they wanted to translate English to Hawaiian, and we took a whole document and translated it into Hawaiian, and they were super impressed at how accurate it was. So you can translate. I mean, that is an actual case that I did. I don't know other languages and how accurate it is. You could do keyword lists and help with SEO and meta descriptions. You can convert tables of data to a clean spreadsheet or use in your customer relationship models. It can turn messy notes into customer proposals, kind of like my example of taking like all the ideas and just putting them down and then using AI to help like bring it into an actual idea that I can use as a proposal. It can summarize Zoom or team meetings into transcripts. For example, this class, if we wanted to, it could translate everything that we're saying to a document that we could then use later on. It can help draft emails. It can help you do drip campaigns, generate subject lines, come up with A/B tests for your email campaigns. It can help generate product descriptions. If you sell on Amazon or platforms like Amazon, it can help generate product description bullets. It can outline your standard operating procedures and policy manuals. And it can help create frequently asked question knowledge-based answers for your websites, or if you're a business that gets frequently asked questions, you can generate an FAQ section. You can, put all those questions in, and then it can generate answers based on like what your website says or what you tell it, or based on like what the industry standard is. So the tools that I use most frequently are Canva, Opus Clip, and Otter AI. Also, Fireflies is one that has been brought to my attention. This is where we're going to start to jump into some examples and action. So it isn't one monolithic robot overlord. It's more like a menu. There's so many different ways that AI is used today. And today we are sampling 4 different ones. Um, by the end, I hope you should know which one you're going to like to use. So right now, Canva, Opus Clip, and Otter, and I'm going to show you a couple of different tools in Canva that you can use. So the AI, the image generation, DALL-E is one, the 4th one that I would share. So ChatGPT, Opus Clip, um, DALL-E, or I primarily use the image generation model in Canva lately. The model in ChatGPT takes quite a while. Canva is probably one of the platforms that I go back to 9 times out of 10 when I'm creating anything. It usually starts with idea iteration, like on a piece of paper or in a conversation with someone else. And then I take the highlights and then I put it into ChatGPT to kind of bring my idea full circle. So I guess in that way, that I used to just do all of my iteration in ChatGPT, so bringing it back to the environmental concern. Um, Instead of that, I now actually write things on paper, because what happens, and I think this is happening to a lot of people, is that we start to become way too dependent on it to do our thinking for us. And, one of the things that separates us and will continue to separate us from AI is our unique thinking and our unique brains and our unique perspectives on things. And without those unique inputs, what we're putting into AI to get outputs is going to be the same as everybody. So if we are relying 100% on ChatGPT, everything we get is going to be the averages of the whole. I don't know if that makes sense. So by iterating ideas and generating outside of the platform, and then just, putting in the highlights of my ideas into ChatGPT to fine tune it, um, I'm still using my unique brain and my unique perspective, and also not using as much data, I'm hoping, and not having as much impact on the environment. Opus Clip is a video generation platform. You can take long form videos and it turns it into short form videos. And again, I'm going to demo a couple of different processes. So I'm good. It's just a few more examples of AI platforms that you might want to look at using. Descript, this is going to transcribe transcript-based audio or video edits, and it helps remove filler words. And if you've never edited video, to edit out all the ums and the pauses and the filler words, this is like it's a gift for video editors, because that takes a lot of time. Grammarly is one that I hear a lot of people use for helping to write professional documents. It's very much based on proper use of the English language. It's a writing assistant that helps make writing faster, clearer, and more impactful. And then there's Fathom, Fireflies, and Otter.ai. These are meeting note automations. They are one of my favorite things to use. When I work with clients in coaching sessions, I'll get their permission to record our conversations. And I only use it to summarize our sessions so we're not missing key points. Oftentimes in coaching sessions before I was using these tools, my clients would have stream of consciousness and they would be verbalizing and they would say something that was like so good and it was just like this little gem. But because they were in the stream of consciousness sharing, they were in the zone, if you will, to go back and remember that they weren't able to. And I couldn't write it down fast enough to get like the full statements. And so what I found is by recording the conversations and having them transcribed, then I was able to share that with the client. So then they too could pull out what was important to them and not just what I thought was important. And it also is great for if you do a lot of Zoom meetings or a lot of meetings, and then you have to summarize the meeting. If you can record the meeting, then you can summarize it in less than a minute post meeting and send out a summary to everyone in attendance. Zapier is another AI tool that is like a trigger. It will like if this happens, then do this other action. And it's really good if you can master Zapier. They call them Zaps. I've tried using it a couple times and it's okay. But you have to be really specific and it has to integrate with the platforms that you're using, and it does cost quite a bit. I cannot say it. Synesthesia is an avatar video explainer. Um, like if you're hiring people or you're onboarding people into a program, you can create this a video person or video that will just explain the processes. So in summary, we generate with ChatGPT, Grok, or Gemini, create using platforms like Canva or Opus Clip. You can polish with AI like Grammarly Go or Grammarly, and then you can publish or schedule using platforms like Metricool, Hootsuite, or Buffer. So I'm going to jump off of the screen share and just think about some of the tools that you are currently using. And just if you don't mind just popping those in the chat, and I'm going to show you how I use some of these other platforms. So I'm just going to stop the screen share so I can pull up. I'm going to start with Opus Clip because it's one that most people aren't very familiar with. I love that. Okay, awesome. Here we go. So again, Opus Clip, and I already generated this video a while back. So it is not a super duper user-friendly platform. It isn't super intuitive. I don't know. It's pretty new. It's only 2 years old, this platform. But what I could do is I could upload a video. I could grab a video from my Google Drive. I could go to my YouTube channel or Vimeo or any other video streaming platform that I've um, that that has open access, and I can pop a link to that video here. And what it does is it then will generate short form videos from that bigger video that I can then put on my social media platforms. So this one is about to expire. And so this is what it does. This is a Zoom class that I taught. And so it does a rating system. So this one is the one that they predict will be 99% more likely to be engaging and that people will enjoy watching. And it gives a little title: Stop Hustling, Find Purpose, and Leave a Legacy. And the cool thing is it says its virtual score, the likelihood that this video will go viral on Shorts, TikTok, or Reels. I can go in and edit this clip. I can download just straight from here, or I could post to any platforms that I've linked. Um, and then so it goes, so from this 3 hour recording, it generated, I think, what is that? Quite a few, 39 different clips. And they go from the best version to as the rating of 60. And I'll just play this one because I think it's to create in this world. and just let that free flow thought process come. Capture it, either talk it into your device or type it or write it, and then start to bring it into reality. Like, so I could say add b-roll, so then it would switch, like it would add b-roll in, and b-roll, if you don't do video, is just video of things that are like outside of this. So it, like, maybe it would pop into a Canva video of someone doing something in Canva, or someone sitting under a tree and thinking of ideas. And then it would come back to my video. But so that's Opus Clip. It's one of my favorite platforms. I was doing when I do public speaking, I oftentimes will record myself. I'll just set up my camera, and it'll take my speaking engagement videos and again give me a little short video. This one is a minute long. So if you are looking at so it generated 36 different clips and all the way down to 73 rating. And I could tell it, generate clips that are under 30 seconds or under a minute, and it will generate like that. It's pretty cool. Let's see. If I were to go to my YouTube channel and I could just pull a link and drop it here, it would start generating. And the other thing that I like about this is a lot of platforms like this, you have to stay on this screen in order for it to work. This one, I can totally close the tab and it will send me an email when all my videos are generated. And so I don't have to be attentive to it. It will work while I'm doing my other things, which is amazing because I do a lot of video editing on my phone and also on my computer and my iPad. And it requires that I be present or on that tab when it's rendering. So it's so cool. So that's Opus Clip in a nutshell. There's a lot more layers to it, but just to give you some exposure to what it looks like. And you can frame it, you can have different formats. You could have it be a video that shorts for YouTube. You could have it reels or TikTok ratios. You could have it Facebook ratios. So you can set the size that you want it to generate the video. So just looking over, just really quick, if someone could type me a short description of what your business is. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be like, I sell jewelry made out of plastic and whatever. And if nobody has an idea, I will just come up with one. Okay. All right. Lavanita, did I say that right? Can you type in 2 things that you want your customers to think about your business? Okay, so I'm going to jump over to ChatGPT. I'm going to close that. And we're going to say, please create, I'm going to just do 5 short quotes for Instagram that will for a business. And this is just a less than perfect prompt. So bear with me. I'm going to copy that. oops, that wants their clients to feel like, make the quotes educational about what a client should know to feel like they are getting the best options for creating masonry work and will want to hire my clients. Okay, I should have said client, not clients. So here's five short educational Instagram quotes. So a great concrete job starts with clear communication. Ask questions, get options, make sure your contractor listens. So these are like, you could say like, here's 5 tips on how to work with a concrete or a mason for your concrete job or whatever. Or you could use these individually as quotes. And I'm just gonna say, can you put these into a spreadsheet or a format that I can use in Canva sheets for bulk create. And I totally forgot to do this in the beginning. So I'm going to show you how you can use ChatGPT and Canva to create. Okay, so it gave me a download file. Perfect. I'm just going to copy and paste these from the document. I don't think you can see it. But all it did is it created an Excel spreadsheet. So now I'm going to go over to Canva, to the home site, and I'm going to go to Sheets. So it has Sheets, and I'm just going to I don't need a template because I'm just going to paste. So in each cell cell 1 is the quote. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to just go over here and I'm actually going to name this concrete masonry quotes. All right, so now it's named so then I can find it. So I'm going to go over to Canva and I want to create a social media post. And I'm going to create something on Instagram. And I'm going to just go over here and I'm going to type quote. And I'm going to go construction. No. So again, it's never perfect, right? Let's just pretend like, let's see. Quote. Let's look for one that we like. So we're just looking for a template that we want just to basically be the template that we're going to use for our 5 quotes because we're going to do 1 quote a week. Let's see. I'm just going to pick something because I'll get way too into this and then we'll run out of time. All right, let's say this. And I'm going to come over here because I want to see, because I know your business name is in there. It's Royal Kingdom Masonry. So we'll just pretend like this is at Royal. Just pretend I'm spelling everything right. I'm just being fast. So we're going to replace this. So if we were doing this the old school way, we would have to go to the sheet and we'd have to copy it, Command copy, and then go back over here and highlight this and then V and then move it around. And now I have to move this. Actually, I think I'm going to delete those highlights just because they're not going to line up. And then we'd have to do a duplicate, make another one, and then go over here, copy this one, and you get the idea. So there's lots of steps. But if we do a bulk create, we just need to make sure that we are picking the right, let's see, let's do a masonry. Let's say this, and I'm going to make this the background. And I'm going to make an effect on this text. We'll pretend like we like that color and everything is exactly how we want it. Actually, I can't. Square, so I need to do this. And I'm gonna just make this big over the whole thing. I'm gonna position it to the back. And then I'm going to change the transparency there. Okay, so now we can see the quote a little bit better. So now I'm going to click on this again, and I'm going to go over here to the side, and you'll see a thing that says bulk create. My mouse is on it right now. I'm going to click on that. And if you don't see that in your Canva, you go to apps and type in bulk create and then just download it. So bulk create. I'm going to take mine from Sheets. This is the cool new thing in Canva. You used to have to upload all the things, and now you can create your spreadsheets here in Canva. So I'm just going to take this one, and I need to reduce our faces because I can't see my button. So I'm going to get done. And I am going to now connect the data from the sheet to here. So I'm going to go connect data because I'm highlighted on the text. And I'm going to go connect data. And I'm just going to click here because that's what I want to connect. Now it's all connected. And I'm going to hit continue. And then it's like, okay, do you want to do all of these? Yes, I want to do them all. So I'm going to, and it's generate 4 designs. So generate 4 designs. Why are you being weird? Last time I did something funny and it totally forgot. Oh, okay. I did it. View in the folder. I did it twice. That's what happened. So now I have these 4 quotes. Again, let's pretend like it's beautiful how we wanted it. So you can see not all concrete is created equal, from stampede patios to structural slabs. Masonry is more than bricks and blocks. Want a smooth build? Look for a contractor who explained timelines. Durability comes from detail. So, let's pretend this is exactly on brand for you, and this is exactly the image. You would just download them, and then you could go to your scheduling platform. Oh, wrong one. I need to close that. We'll go to Metricool. And I thought I am logged in. So now it's going to take a minute. And I am going to go to my Instagram, and I'm going to go to planning, and I'm going to create a post. You can see these percentages that are on here. I want to see the Instagram ones. So you can see there's 90%, 89. So tomorrow at 7 a.m., which is very interesting for me, or tomorrow that's like the best percentage, or at 12 noon are when people are typically on my platform. So I'm going to remove Facebook because I just want it to go to Instagram and I want it to be a regular post. And because I linked my Canva, I can just go to Canva and I can do this guy. I'm going to accept and I'm going to go continue. Sorry, we're running a little bit long, and I'm just going to unselect these guys and I'm going to hit accept. And now let's pretend like I have, what you could do too is you could go over here and say generate captions for each quote. I would put way more detail in here, like generate captions that inspire people to make a comment um, or to like my post, or I want them to follow my account. So then I just grabbed that and I posted it here. Hashtags aren't important, but um, ChatGPT still likes to generate hashtags. So then I can schedule it. And then I could just go through, and every Wednesday at 7 a.m. for the next 4 weeks, I can have a quote posted on my social media, and that will just go out when it when it's scheduled. And I can do that for each day of this week. So that's how I use Canva to do bulk create. There's a whole other level of bulk create in Canva that I didn't go over, but for the most part, that's how I use it. And I'm just gonna go, oh, I have some confidential conversations in there I don't want to pull up. But if you do Opus Clip, for example, this would be I'm sorry, Otter.ai is the platform that I use. But if we were to do Fireflies, it's fireflies.ai, it's this one here. It's, it's a transcribe platform. So you can see the sample here is exactly what you would see. This is the title of it. The kickoff call served as an introduction between Fireflies and Acme Inc. They aim to use Fireflies AI, and then it has like, at this time we introduced ourselves, at this time we did X, Y, and Z. And then it would continue summarizing that that meeting. And then you could, in my platform, I could ask it generate an email to each participant that highlights the action items as well as the key topics we covered. And it generates the whole email based on that conversation. And then I copy and paste it and send it out. And I look like I have an assistant that's doing all these amazing things for me in a matter of like 10 minutes versus like 2 days later we get the summary of the meeting, right? So you can get it instantly. Um, awesome.
You-
Any questions? Sorry.
No, no problem. We do have one question. Why do you choose to use Metricool over Hootsuite and Buffer?
Price.
Yes.
Let me, if you have a moment, I'll show you. Because I only take on a few social media management clients, because I only have the capacity. But with Hootsuite, every single person that I have as a client costs me a lot more. With Metricool, I have up to 5 brands, and I'll show you what it looks like. I haven't been really, I'm rebranding, I'm relaunching my social media. So I don't have a lot scheduled, so I can show you these things. So you can see over here, I could link for one brand, I can connect Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, Google Business, YouTube, Twitch, Meta, Google Ads, and TikTok ads. So I could connect all of these to my Metricool for each client, for each brand. So this is me. And then I could go over, and my other 2 clients, I can do the same. So each one of my clients is a brand, including myself. So I have three brands. And for my version, I have up to 5 brands. So I could technically take on 2 more clients, but I don't want to. I only want to manage 3 accounts, or three brands, which is mine and 2 people. Um, and it gives you analytics. You could pay, I think you have to pay a little bit more for LinkedIn. Um, but it's so cool because you can schedule, like if I were to go to my calendar here, because I only have my Facebook and Instagram connected. Oh wait, I did connect my YouTube, I think. So I can say like I want to add, um so it wants me to connect, so it's not letting me do. I can add my Facebook here. I could do a story, I could do a post or a reel. So if I'm posting the same thing to both places, then I have to, do a reel for Facebook and Instagram. I could just post to Facebook, but I could add a video that is going to go to Facebook and to my YouTube channel. But you can see it gives you errors. At least one video for YouTube. Video or short titles are required. It is necessary to select the audience of the video. So there's things that you have to do for each platform to meet requirements for the posting, but it's pretty straightforward with what you do. So I'm just gonna just as an example, um, I can pull a oh, I don't have time to load a video, but let's pretend I loaded a video and then what you would see on my calendar after that is um except so for this post here, you would see if I decided to do YouTube at the same time, you would see an Instagram, a YouTube, and let's say I did Facebook. So all of them would show up here. And that's a good way to track, like, do I have stuff scheduled for each of these days of the week or the days that I want things posted? So it's a really good planning tool. I can show you my NCAC because I actually have stuff scheduled out for them. So you can see like it shows Facebook and Instagram because those are the only two accounts they have me managing. Um, so you can see the
It's so
previous.
cool that it gives the percentages for each for the time of day, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say that this is cool, except for you have to pay if you want to add LinkedIn, which is not my favorite thing, but that's okay.
right.
So if I wasn't managing, because Nicole and Emily taught me how to use Buffer, should are you still recommending that one over the other two? Sorry, I'm just asking to see if I should I switch over or
Um, I would say if you're just managing one brand, you can use Metricool for free also for one brand.
Ooh.
Um, but because I have multiples, I paid to upgrade. Um, Buffer is really good. And Hootsuite is amazing. I got certified using Hootsuite. They had a social media strategy certification through Hootsuite and I took it and it was amazing and I was addicted and obsessed to Hootsuite. But it's so expensive.
Wow.
It's so expensive now. It used to be really affordable, but now it's like so out of my budget.
How much is metrical?
Um, I
I can tell you, it is the starter pack, which includes multiple brands, including all social media accounts, excluding Twitter, which they exclude Twitter across the board in all of their variants, is $18 a month.
yes.
so with the free one, am I still able to see the higher percentage? Because I think Buffer doesn't do that. Am I right, ladies, or do I just not know?
No, Buffer does not inherently include
Oh,
those percentages, and it does not inherently include analytics into its free version.
does it include that in the Metro Cool?
In the free version of
Yeah.
metrical. Awesome.
You
Oh, it
get the
does.
analytics.
That's the
Yeah.
first time I've seen it laid out like that, and I think it looks really good. Like just it's
For
nice.
my brain, that is the perfect way.
Yeah.
But everybody's different and everybody has preferences. Like analytics might not be that important, whereas like the ability to link your posting apps is because if you're creating content and you're putting it all in your Google Drive, the fact that you can go to your Google Drive and pull it from there versus having to like download it, then upload it and like do all these extra steps, it's just a massive time saver.
And then I have a question. What kind of platforms do you use for predictive AI, or do you just use like ChatGPT?
I don't really use ChatGPT isn't great for predictive. I mean, I use QuickBooks Online, which does my cash flow projections
Okay.
and stuff like that. So that's my main predictive AI that I use.
Okay.
And then the algorithms, like the metrical, seeing those percentages, that's predictive AI. That's predicting based on past interaction. That's when most of my followers are active online.
But I think it's really cool that you can use predictive AI in QuickBooks to kind of forecast, what you got going on, how long that's going to sustain you, what changes do I have to make right now to
Yeah.
fix future problems. I think that's really cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Great questions. Any other question? Loomly. I haven't used Loomly.
Loomly was my favorite. We had to pay a lot of money for it, but I liked it a
Oh,
lot better
okay.
than Hootsuite. That's why we don't have it. I had to pay a lot of money for it for another org. I liked it a lot better than Hootsuite. It was a little bit more intuitive, and also I just like the UI. Hootsuite's UI kind of got like a little bit crazy there over the years, and Loomly was much more pared down and just generally easier to use.
Would you say that Metricool is pretty intuitive for
I feel like it's very intuitive. You can also manage everything from Metricool, which I didn't show that. You can answer if someone makes a comment, you can answer through the
oh,
platform instead of like
that's great.
if you get sucked into platforms, hi, where you're like go on TikTok and then you're scrolling for 3 hours, being able to manage conversations through the Metricool platform versus going on the app
Yes.
is going to save you
That's
time.
really cool. I think,
Yeah.
Nicole, I'm gonna maybe
Can
switch.
you? I
Yeah,
think
I can
it's great.
switch because I think that's cool. I've never actually seen it being used, so I'm very happy to have seen the demo.
Because
Yeah.
Thank
even
you.
with us, we manage, Paco stuff, but keeping track of the conversations is important because, on all these different portals of social portals, it's like, oh man, did I respond to that? So yeah, that's good. That's really
Yeah, I'll
good.
test it out. We can't use it for LinkedIn because I'm still trying to keep the freebies
Yeah.
going for us, but we can just schedule natively in LinkedIn. That's not a problem.
Yeah. I know that was one thing I was surprised that you had to pay more for LinkedIn, but I'm still
It's
trying.
okay.
LinkedIn just wants you to pay for everything. They're
They
like, you
do.
want premium? Pay me. You want to see who looked at you? Pay me.
I know. LinkedIn just wants the money, and so does Twitter, but Twitter also isn't available on any of the Metricool anymore, and it's probably because of its yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Upper management.
Yeah, but that's good though too if you have your business and you have all your stuff linked on Metricool and then you can see if anyone inquires about something and that's really good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we went
Awesome.
a little over. Does anyone have any more questions for Roxanne?
Sweet.
All
You guys
right.
are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
feel free to reach out if you do have questions. You can contact me through Emily or Nicole. Um, Happy to help answer questions for anyone.
Yeah. I'll put my email in the chat too if you guys want to email me. I can link you with Roxanne. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for engaging.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes it so much more fun. Um, Levanita, sorry,
Yes.
I'm my reading to oral is like always messed up. Do you
Yeah.
guys, are you in Oregon only?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, only in Oregon. Are you in Vancouver? Is that why you asked?
I'm in Washington. Yeah, up in Washington.
Oh, soon. I'm thinking in the next 2 weeks. It's just because I'm behind. So it's been me who's like, I'm already crazy with running Oregon and I want to add another one, but yeah, we're in process
Right
adding
on.
Washington.
Very
So
nice.
keep our name still if you don't need it right yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure when. Hopefully soon,
Okay.
but because I'm
Yep.
ready to move.
Is it for
Okay.
your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'll send you Lavanita's information.
Yes.
We
Please
we
do.
we did her website for
Yes,
Okay.
her
they did.
through TA. So
Yep.
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great questions, everyone. It was so nice to meet everybody.